welcome everybody from Speedgaming. This is your boy LG Creed here, bringing to you another fantastic race within the Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament for this 2023. So, for those that haven't been keeping up with what's going on right now, we're about to get started in a moment, but give me a few moments and I'll explain everything in a moment. I gotta take care of something. Sorry for the interruption, everyone. IRL has to call every so often. Just to let everyone know, I may have to step out for a little bit in order to take care of something, so you might be without commentary for several minutes. But for right now, we still have a race that is currently on the way, as Charlieboy and Zneip in a semi-final matchup, already started with Quickman stage, which is basically one of your starter stages that you normally will probably go to in these randomizer races, especially since you got names revealed. So you're pretty much gonna see a pretty standard route. Like I said, Quickman is one of those stages that you would like to see first because you get a very quick E-Tank and some other goodies along the way to help survivability. Right now, Zneip is currently going stride for stride with Charlieboy, who's getting whacked by the moles, and is forced to go to our force beam section. So, for those that aren't familiar with what's going on with this randomizer tournament, like I said, this is currently a semi-final matchup. One of these two will be going to the grand finals, while the loser will be sent for a third place bout that will be determined later on. So for right now, this is a very big deal between our runners. Zneip, one of our newest entrants into the randomizer tournament scene, has made some very significant strides, already going as far as the semis, hoping to make this first appearance a very memorable one and going to the finals, while Charlieboy, one of our former tournament organizers, is hoping to go deep into the tournament once more and trying to claim another first place victory in this tournament. But meanwhile, both our runners are struggling against this Woodman in the Quickman room. Very durable to the Buster, and it's just not standing still for anyone, pretty much going full length, jumping from side to side. But both our runners are able to take care of the Woodman, get their first Robot Master done, and no items so far. Within the Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament, well, for the Randomizer in general, our 3 items, Item 1, Item 2, and Item 3, are randomized within the 8 Robo stages, so we have no idea where these items will be found. And both our runners go to Flash, and this is a very rough start for Flash. While Flashman is one of the stages that we like to go to very early, there are some enemy configurations. Naturally, enemy randomization is one of the things that are randomized into Rando. Having them set in positions where they are very hard to kill in Flash can make the area extremely treacherous. So as you saw earlier, you saw those large tin cans or blockies pretty much be in a position where they were basically not impossible to kill with the Buster. Zneip found that Leaf Shield can one-shot him, but at this rate, Zneip just wasn't able to recover from the slip-slidey area of the crystals that are in Flash and winds up taking a death trying to jump over the blocky as it reforms. Charlieboy opted to take the risk. He has no E-tanks, opted to skip the one that was rarely available, is opted to take on our Airman analog in Flashman's room, our B-Man here. Tried to use Leaf Shield. Leaf Shield ain't doing much of nothing. Opted to take the fight to Airman straight up, able to do some little pop shots, and is able to take him out. So Charlieboy with the early lead right now, but of course it's still early, and we do have an item 1 sighting in Flash. So Charlieboy with the slight early advantage. Zneip, if he's able to keep things together, he should be taking care of Airman in relative short order. And find that Leaf Shield is able to do significant damage to Air. A little vanilla-esque, but not as powerful as it probably would be if it was actually weakness strength. But that is information that Zneip could use towards his advantage in refights later on. Of course, if Airman decides to be a bro and be willing to get hit by the Leaf Shield. Meanwhile, both our boys are still running strive for strive with each other, going to the same area so far. Both our runners going to Bubble Man. Of course, this being a zipless tournament, all zips are illegal. So as you can see, Charlieboy is doing the long walk where our fish-like crabs and our shrimp are pretty much a seafood onslaught. It's pretty much just bombarding Charlieboy right now. Meanwhile, Zneip's about to go through the same thing. I don't think Zneip used his E-Tank when he was fighting Air, so he may have a little bit of an extra safety to get through the rest of this area, unlike Charlieboy, who's going without. We'll find that out in a little bit on Zneip's end, but meanwhile, Charlieboy is about to be the first to go into the Bubble Man boss room and see who our boss is going to be in here. And I was correct, Zneip does have an E-Tank, so his survivability is a little bit better. Meanwhile, Charlieboy looks like he got some energy along the way. But regardless, Metal Man was found and was a very easy Metal Man. Metal Man is very manipulable underwater. All you gotta do is just do the metal dance underwater with metal, and he goes down pretty quickly. Helps that Metal Man was pretty Buster Soft weak. Stage about to find out that same information in a moment, as Charlieboy is gonna be our first, once again with that slight little advantage, going to Woodman stage, where we got a lot of blowhards and some Joes, trying to slow down Charlieboy's progress. They've taken care of Bubble Man stage, taking a little bit of a detour compared to Charlieboy. Zneip, especially having no E-Tanks, opting to go here a little sooner, hoping to snag a couple of E-Tanks along the way. Probably gonna take both E-Tanks, especially since it has item 1. Probably gonna take the detour and continue on, making sure to get maximum safeties in this stage. Meanwhile, Charlieboy, finding out that item 1 is a very slow riser. Item 1 being our only item that has a randomized attribute amongst the 3 items. After he tried to use it to make his upward ascents a little bit quicker, and going to the top of the treehouse, we got a lot of Pyro bots and batons, and a fake dollar store Metroid or 2. But overall, a pretty safe treehouse, as Charlieboy is about to make his descent throughout the rest of the area. Meanwhile, Zneip, probably one of the more dangerous configurations for the second half of Airman. Well, the fan feeds made me think Airman, but I meant Metal Man. And there are a crap ton of fan fiends. Hopefully we're not going to see a situation where, yep, doing the pause buffer. But fortunately there was a Matul on the way. Definitely there could have been a fan fiend that could have just stopped forward progress and probably could have put Zneip into a pit. But Zneip already had the pause buffer set up in mind and safely into the Metal Man boss room, where Flash ran away. Meanwhile, Charlieboy already making quick work of the Quick Man that was in wood and gets item 2. So Charlieboy with some pretty good item luck. Zneip taking care of the... Ooh, got a little bit of a internet snafu on Zneip's end. Hopefully we get some information on his side soon. His stream freezes up. Maybe item 3 was found in Metal Man? We won't know. We won't know right now, but at this current moment, Zneip is going to Woodman stage where he will eventually get his item 2. We just won't know if he has item 3 until we see like a item select at this point. Meanwhile, Charlieboy making fantastic use of the item 1 he got from Wood. Trying to use that item 2 to make this short little stretch of screens of Crash a little bit shorter, but the frogs were not having it. Meanwhile, it seems like Zneip is making good friends with this Atomic Fire here. Atomic Fire has a couple of randomized attributes. Its charge speed can be completely random, or you can have the variant that Zneip has right now and has it extremely supercharged. And if it has a very low ammo consumption, it definitely will be one of the go-to weapons that you'll like to have in your arsenal. Meanwhile, Charlieboy, not having item 3 available, is opted to take the left side, trying to use the item 2 to try to make these ladder climbs as quick as possible. Of course, the Fan Fiends kind of made it a little bit of a hassle, blowing them backwards, not making the item 2s as efficient as they could be, as he's about to go to the Crashman room and see what boss is there. Meanwhile, Zneip is about to find a very easy Quick Man in Woodman's room. And we got ourselves a pretty stealthy Bubble Man that went down very quickly, so I'm assuming he's definitely weak to the Buster. And item 3 found in Crash. This is some very, very amazing luck for Charlieboy here, which means that Metal did not have item 3 clearly. And Zneip, having taken care of Quick Man in Wood, finally gets his item 2, opting to go to Airman, hoping to make use of that item 2 to bypass some of the open air areas. Meanwhile, Charlieboy, with literally everything going his way in terms of item luck and having all the items available, immediately goes to Airman stage. I mean, not Airman, but Heatman stage, where hoping to make maximum use of these items. Oop, Zneip wisely turns to the left. For those that aren't familiar with enemy manipulations, the PPs that fly in the air will always appear in the direction that your player character is facing. So in this case, especially when flying item 2, you definitely want to turn to the left so the burst can spawn to the left, so they won't be in your way while in the middle of flight. And see, we got some equally interesting internet issues on Charlieboy's end, a little bit of a freeze. Switch to Zneip's side so we can get some audio here. So meanwhile, as we keep pace on Zneip's end for the time being, while we see if we can get Charlieboy back on the feed, Zneip is taking care of the rest of Airman stage with a little bit of a metal resistance. Do we have anything else along the way? Oh, looks like it's just Tellys and Mets. That's pretty much just in between, well, in a Hermit Crab. But very easy, very soft resistance for Zneip as he goes to Airman's corridor and about to find out who is going to fight in that room. And look like we found our Blob Heat Man. Trying to find a weakness. Not having much luck. Quick Boomerang does need to do damage, but not very much. but finds our sole and solitary Time Stopper weakness. Time Stopper having seen to be the full drain in this case. Seem to find our one and only weakness, Time Stopper being weak to one Robot Master and one Robot Master only. Find it for Heat, which is very lucky considering Heat can be a very annoying boss to deal with at times. Also, we see that Charlieboy is in air. I'm gonna take the safe assumption and say that he has completed Heatman stage in spite of all the frame dropping shenanigans on his side of the screen. So Zneip dealing with this enemy onslaught here in Heatman stage, trying to take care of the area as safely as possible. Looks like he's able to take care of all the madness that was in the first set of screens in Heat. But just saw Charlieboy's in before his screen kind of got held up. We saw that the rest of Heatman stage is going to be pretty chock full of Chanky Makers. And Chanky Makers are one of the more annoying enemies to deal with. But they are also one of the enemies that don't have a randomized weakness. Zneip wisely taking the E-Tank that he got from Metal and using it to try to continue throughout the rest of the stage. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is taking on this Heat. Looks like he might not find out that Time Stopper is the way to go, but finds a soft weakness in his vanilla weakness in Bubble. And gonna utilize that to take care of this Heatman here. But yeah, as I was saying about the Chanky Makers before, as Zneip's about to find out who he missed on Charlieboy's in the Heatman room, the Chanky Makers are one of the few enemies in this randomizer that don't have a randomized weakness. So if you know the vanilla weaknesses for the Chanky Makers, you're able to take care of them very easily because they're basically static. So if you got Air Shooter, they get one shot and you have very little to worry about. Meanwhile, Zneip having a little bit of an issue on the Heatman finish, dealing with the crash. But was able to take him out with what I was assuming to be Leaf Shield as a soft weakness. So it seems like both our runners are on their final Robot Masters. Zneip getting the bad news that Item 3 was here in Crashman stage, so it's gonna have to take a little bit of a long climb towards the end of the stage. Meanwhile, Charlieboy trying to make use of that Item 2. Normally, Item 2 in this rate would be an advantage, since we'll be probably using it for the final stretches of this stage in Metal. Unfortunately, these Fan Fiends were not pretty much having any of it. Ooh, Charlieboy spawning the Item 2 a little bit too high. The wraparound kind of breaking that Item 2, making some inefficient uses of the Item 2. So Item 2 not being much of a benefit for Charlieboy as he goes into the Metal Man room where Flashman awaits. Not weak to the Buster as we saw on Zneip's end, but opted to stick with the Buster, trying to Buster duel him, but getting a little smacked around for a bit for his troubles. Opted to pop his Soul E-Tank, but that's pretty much it. That's all 8 Robot Masters down for Charlieboy as he's the first one to go to our Wily stages, where Dr. Wily makes an actual appearance this time around. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I'd like to play a little bit of a game with you. If you haven't been around for any of the Mega Man 2 Randomizer Tournament action, we'd like to have a little bit of fun, especially with this Mega Dragon that's coming up very soon. The Mega Dragon has several randomized attributes attributed to it. So, you got a weakness, you can guess that. You got a color, you can guess that. But you can also guess the dragon sprite. And for those that aren't familiar with the sprite options that we have, as Zneip gets out of Crashman stage and follows Charlieboy into the Wily stages, here are your options. Of course, you got the vanilla dragon. You also have a little bit of a beady eyes dragon based from Rockman No Constancy. I'll let you know when we see it. We got a dragon with some very neat shades. We got our Dragoncorn, a Dragoncorn with a unicorn horn on his head. And one of our two special sprites, the Oats Dragon and the Swag Dragon. So to get your guesses in chat, we're seeing Charlieboy pretty much going through the rest of Wily 1, about to make his way to the dragon. Zneip, seeing fanfees along the way, wisely opts to ignore using item 2 for this part of the stage. Alright, so we got at a little more than half of a stage lead between Charlieboy and Zneip, and that is our Beady Eyes Dragon from Rockman No Constancy. That used to be kind of like our Gar Shades Dragon. Shout out to Gurren Lagann fans. But if you said Green Dragon with a very good Crashman weakness, you pretty much won my respect. And that's good enough. Meanwhile, Charlieboy, taking care of said dragon, is going to Wily Stage 2. While Zneip is about to take care of our dragon, if he sticks with second page, he'll find a pretty decent crash weakness. And it looks like he does have crash equipped, so he will find that weakness. So for right now, Charlieboy is the only thing that's standing between him and completing Wily Stage 2 at this point is going to be, well, blockies ain't gonna help all that much either. But fortunately, the Metal Blaze is doing the work. Once again, being in a place where the blockies would be extremely hard to kill normally, but find a weapon to try to make the area passable. But yes, Charlieboy is now about to face our Pico Kun units. And this also has several sprites, but there is one particular sprite that is very dangerous. And it ain't this one. And especially not this one, since it's Buster Week. Our Twitch Monster Picos should be relatively no problem for Charlieboy. And he should be done with this stage in short order. Meanwhile, Zneip is starting in Wily Stage 2. We're gonna see if he's gonna go and check for wall weakness. Charlieboy's a runner that really doesn't check for wall weaknesses, and likes to check for wall weaknesses until he gets to the boobing fights. So Charlieboy with a very easy Pico fight taken care of. Now it goes to Wally 3. About to see if the waters are purified, dirty, or maybe drinkable, who knows? Wally's pretty... looks like Wally wants to maintain his continence. Looks like prune juice. So Charlieboy making his way through a very simple Wily Stage 3. Zneip opting to use Metal Blades, trying to make use of the angles, but it's taking quite a bit of metal to destroy these units. Buster definitely is the way to go. For those that aren't familiar with strategy for the rando, when you're dealing with the Pico units, you are like to always trying to find something that one-shots, first and foremost. And if it doesn't one-shot, always check Buster, especially for ammo conservation. Just like what Charlieboy tried to do with this Bowser tank here. Buster wind up not being a weakness here, but Metal definitely do the job. And Charlieboy dispatches of the Bowser tank. And Zneip using Metal, at least his ammo consumption was good to make it viable. And is opting to go straight into Wily Stage 3, where he about to dip into the large vat of prune juice. Oh! Zneip trying to use that pause buffer to negate that damage so he doesn't get knocked into the pits. One of our newest additions to the randomizer in terms of quality of life is our pause feature that allows us to cancel out weapons that normally would not be cancelable in vanilla play. Also able to cancel knockback, similar in the vein of Mega Man 1, for those that know strategy of that particular game. Meanwhile, Charlieboy, already halfway through with Wily Stage 4, seeing if we actually have anxiety rooms. Definitely has enemies along the way, but there are definitely enemies that could be much more dangerous than what we're seeing right now. However, there's still a third screen to contend with. Let's see what we're gonna have on that end, as they finally finds Metal as a weakness for our Bowser tank. Charlieboy opted to damage boost and use item 1 to negate that moving platform area. It should be on his way towards the end of the stage. Has no item 1 or item 2 though. So if he needs to climb up to take care of the boo beams, he might have a little bit of issue, but he does have plenty of item 3 to hopefully negate that. Alright. And we got goodies. Oh, well, we also found that Metal is a wall weakness as well. These are coming up Charlieboy in this matchup. Pretty good weaknesses. Not only for the walls, but definitely for the Pico not for the boo beam turrets. Like I said, we get a weapon that can ignore walls, like a metal blade, or a leaf shield, or occasionally air if the air shooter is vertical enough. The boo beam is just a relative non-factor unless you had some very, very bad ammo management throughout the stage. Zneip is trying to take care of the rest of Wily Stage 4, trying to make up as much time as possible, as Charlieboy is on fantastic pace right now. Trying to go through these refights here. Trying to make as little mistakes as possible so he can pretty much go one up on against Zneip. So for right now, this is basically Charlieboy's race to lose. Zneip's going through the final stretches of Wily Stage 4. About to face our boo beam turrets, where he's gonna get the good news about the weakness. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is halfway done with the refights. Taking out this very easy quick man here. And now about to go through our final 3 robos. Try to pierce through that leaf shield with the crash bombs. See, like, Woodman wasn't having any of it. Charlieboy with limited resources opting to go take the large health. As Zneip finally gets into the refights. But it may be a little bit of too late. Charlieboy is already on his final Robot Master in Flash. Flash is very durable, but should be easy enough to deal with the Buster in spite of. So Charlieboy about to take on the machine. Is it Buster weak? Nope. So we're gonna do some weakness hunting. Starting with the usual suspects. Finds that metal is at least a weakness for the first phase. Opts his Soul E-Tank, hoping that metal is indeed weak for both phases. So Metal Blade being our best weakness for the Wily Machine, and Charlieboy about to go to Wily Stage 6, our victory road here, where all that stands between him and victory is just one alien and one weakness. So Charlieboy is about to go to the final stretches of this particular seed, while Zneip is just pretty much, yeah, over halfway done with his robots. But it looks like Charlieboy will eventually win the day here. All you gotta do is just take care of this alien. And our alien for today is one particular fish from Mega Man 4. Shouts to Squid Man, one of our devs. This is basically one of his favorite enemies, at least. Regardless, we find Crash Bombs. Crash Bombs doing the dirty work. Charlieboy winning with official racetime.gg time of 30 minutes and 3 seconds. A very brick seed for Charlieboy, as we're gonna have Zneip finish up his seed and try to get things done. So Zneip, but in that heat is at least weak to the first phase, but we know that both phases are weak to metal. But will he find that weakness? Nope. We're gonna find the other two weaknesses for the separate phases. So we actually found all three weaknesses for the Wily Machine. So Zneip coming up towards the end of this run here with a yeah. That's one internet. Bravo. Well, whilst hopefully we get to see Zneip finish. There we go. Get us some footage, Net. We want to see Zneip finish the job. As we're about to see this fish get annihilated one more time. Doing the whole weakness dive. Look like gonna do full first page before digging for the second page where our crash bombs away. Probably gonna find out last picking crash bombs. Yep. As always, if it's not heat, it's usually crash. That is usually last picked. But that is GG's for Zneip. Finishing with official racetime.gg time of 32 minutes and 9 seconds. That concludes race 1 of our best of 3. But for right now, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of an extended break here. Our runner's going to be setting up, and I got some IRL stuff that needs to be done. Unfortunately, groceries cannot pick themselves up by themselves. So we're going to have ourselves a little bit of an extended break here, and we'll be hopefully done and get race 2 as soon as possible. So for those, thank you for watching and thank you for your patience. We'll be ready very, very shortly. I'm going to say 10 minutes tops. So sit tight, hang back, and we'll be ready very, very soon. And we are back. Once again, this is your boy LV Creed here, bringing you the live commentary action with the Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament for the Speedgaming Live 2023. Once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching, and thank you for your patience as I had to take care of some things in between matches. Gotta take care of the home. But yes, as you saw earlier, Charlieboy pretty much dominated everything about the first race here, pretty much just giving Zneip no chance or opportunity for any kind of comeback whatsoever. That speaks volumes to Charlieboy's knowledge and veteranship of this randomizer, but Zneip hadn't gone to this semifinal position not without some skill and some luck of his own. So we're going to see in a few moments as the timer should get underway and our runners get off and going. Match 2, race 2 of our best of 3 begins right now. And both our runners, once again, going to one of our usual suspects, going to quick match stage. Once again, for those that are new or just now tuning in, first off, hello everyone, Speedgaming 2. Hope you're enjoying what you've seen so far. But yes, we're going to this stage in particular first because of the simple fact that it has a lot of goodies that you can get very early, as you can see on Zneip's and Charlieboy's screen. Safeties are pretty paramount in this randomizer, so you're pretty much going to the stage where not only you can get the relative easiest safeties, but also stages where item usage is really at a minimum. Quickman being one of them, especially with this being zipless. This being a zipless tournament. And even if it was zips were allowed, item 1, which would be the main zipping item, is the only item that has a randomized attribute, so much so that it might be impossible to even set up for some zips. Regardless of the matter, we see, well, there's a little bit of a desync, but I would probably say that both Zneip and Charlieboy are pretty much running stride for stride with each other. Stream delays aside, both our runners going straight into the quick man room, about to see who's going to be facing in that arena. And at least on Zneip screen, we've seen that it is an air siding. Air, probably one of the tougher robot masters to deal with in a randomizer situation because his tornadoes are always sparse in a randomized position. Oh, Zneip was cutting it a little bit close. But both our runners have taken out the stage. And both our runners do get item 3. We have confirmed it on Zneip's end, even though Charlieboy seemed to be having some feed issues. Which seemed to be a little bit of a topic here in this particular race. As we hopefully get Charlieboy back on screen. Right now, as you can see, Zneip is dealing with the Joe forces here in Flashman stage. Fortunately, the Joe mechs are pretty weak. The Joes themselves are a little durable, but they're not as durable. So, Zneip going the opposite direction here. This not only could be a little bit of safety, but unfortunately, the enemy setup being a little bit kind to Zneip. The route that Zneip took on accident normally would be a pretty rough route for the simple fact that enemies are definitely spaced in that screen that could be pretty much undodgeable. So Zneip really got lucky in that formation. There we go, we got Charlieboy back. And as I also expected, Charlieboy was going to flash. But we get a quick man. Our fairy woman quick man here. Which we like to call Cyrano for obvious reasons. Able to take him out pretty quick. Flash stage done on Charlieboy's end. They've taken a little bit of extra effort to take out quick. Can only take one hit. Also take the juice box, and very wise decision. That hit would have killed, and that would have negated all of Zneip's battle progress. Once again, safeties are very important to how you navigate through the randomizer. Very, very rarely you see a seed that is so kind that you need no safeties of E-tanks or anything of the sort. But yeah, look, seems like stream free of this particular matchup. But I'll still keep with it. Nothing's too unfollowable. But as we see, both our runners are dealing with Bubble Man stage. Once again, following on each other's heels. The Seed Life being a little bit annoying. Our Dollar Store Metroid, which takes up the form of the enemy that was in Mega Man 4, a little durable. Got some squirms, some Watcher-looking shrimp. Just a lot to go through in that stretch, as Charlieboy pretty much finishes off the rest of the screens in Bubble. About to see who's in the boss room here. And we get a flash. Who's pretty much gonna go down very quickly. Wait a second, this could be interesting. Ooh! The high jump caused a little bit more chaos than expected. Charlieboy, especially one that really doesn't go for too many safeties. Probably didn't have an E-tank in storage. And wound up taking the extra death. But he still winds up taking out Flash. Zneip is done in short order. Getting a little bit of time thanks to the death on Charlieboy's end. But still pretty much has to take a little bit of extra effort to try to catch up to Charlieboy. And both our runners, once again, running stride for stride. making things easier for the commentary and the viewers here to know who's clearly in the lead, barring another stream freeze. As you can see, both Charlieboy and Zneip going to the Woodman stage, finding out that monkeys are Buster immune. They'll need to find a weapon to take them out if they wind up being in the way. Both runners going to Heat, finding out it is the supercharged variant, so they should be making some very close friends with this weapon. Especially since they're one-shotting our kitties here. We have to put our dogs up for the night, we're putting the cats out. And yep, you're hearing some Yo-Yo Man for some Unlimited. Once again, shout outs to the music team that's been trying to add all the music for these new Randomizer versions. But yeah, at the top of the treehouse, we got some Joes, we got some frogs. Some usually annoying enemies along the way. But both our runners handling the Joe and Frog treehouse pretty cleanly, not too worse for it. But yeah, pretty much a screen apart from each other. Both of these runners are pretty much handling Woodman stage very cleanly. And now we get the stream freeze on Charlieboy's end. You're making your boy work on the audio here. But yeah, Zneip once again going through the rest of the Joe Forest. Charlieboy first to our boss in Woodman's room, which is Crash. He's a small jumper, but not really aggressive and very weak to the Buster. They have to take a little bit of the extra safety to make sure they survive the fight. But both our runners have taken care of Woodman stage. Are they going to keep on following each other? We are pretty much not deviating for anything. Both our runners following each other stride for stride. And I'm pretty sure they're not stream watching each other. Stream watching in the randomizer setting is against the rules as well. We are pretty much on full honor code here. But I'm pretty sure our runners are not stream sniping each other. So I can pretty much just say that the fact that they're running completely behind each other is pretty much coincidence. But yeah, for the first part of Metal Man stage, not too annoying of a deal. Has some Metroid, some Squirms. Yeah, pretty low damage enemies, enough for you to just pretty much just tank it through and continue onward. Meanwhile, we got a combination of Chanky Makers and falling fish, our re-sprited crabs, thanks to our sprite dev, Charlieboy, who is racing right now for all the added sprites and backgrounds that you see before you, for better and or for worse, depending on personal opinion and taste. But regardless of the matter, Charlieboy, our first runner, going to the Metal Man boss room. Zneip a little bit dinged up, but he does have a tank just in case. But it's a Heat Man, so gotta be careful. This is a fast-acting Heat. I think Zneip might need to take the decision to take that E-Tank, but he's gonna go for it. Meanwhile, Charlieboy has already finished the fight and gets item 1 for his trouble. Zneip dancing with fire here. Taking care of Heat, dealing with the deadly dance, also getting his item 1. What's his decision? Well, it's a pretty obvious choice. Both our runners got item 1 and item 3. The two items that make Crash Man as fast as it is. So obviously both our runners are pretty much just going with the item meta here. Charlieboy making use of that item 1 to ignore these 3 platform rooms here. About to expect Zneip to do the exact same thing. So both our runners are doing some very fantastic work here. Hopefully we got our bot working. There we go. Follow our runners here. They're pretty much pulling out all the stops here in this semifinal matchup to not only test themselves but bring you the full action that is based on this Mega Man 2 randomizer. Of course, for more information on things of this particular randomizer, you can always follow this link to keep track with all the randomizer action as we're actually coming to this tournament's close here. After this, we will have one of our grand finalists and one of our third place match contestants set up. Charlieboy first to finish his crash climb. Zneip not too far behind, about to use the item 3s here. Doing the pause cancelings to get rid of the item 3s to make them respond as fast as possible. Charlieboy about to find out who is in Crash Room. And we found ourselves a Woodman. He's gonna go to see if he pierces through. It does pierce, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Trying to see if any other weapon would do a significant amount of damage. Often to just Buster Duel it, popping the E-Tank along the way for safety. Pretty sure Zneip might be doing the same thing, making sure that you can survive. And finds item 2. So both our runners will be maxed out on their items here. As Charlieboy does go to Heatman. We're gonna see if the trend follows as Zneip falls behind Charlieboy or he goes to Airman stage. But you do have all your items. Every stage can potentially be safely traversed. And we finally get a breakaway from this routing monotony. We got Zneip going to air, and I do not like what I saw. Did I see what I thought I saw? But we don't know just yet. I thought I saw a very dangerous enemy. But for right now, looks like Zneip is gonna be... Oh, nope, I did see what I thought I saw. That was definitely a Fan Fiend, but the Fan Fiends fortunately seem to be in very safe positions. Fan Fiends in this stage definitely would have been trouble for these harrowing jumps. Meanwhile, Charlieboy pretty much making short work of Heatman stage with these weird looking bunnies that look like Joes with Metal Man decorations on their heads. I promise some people have too much time on their hands. But jokes aside, Charlieboy is about to finish up Heatman stage. About to find out who is one of our 2 remaining Robot Masters here, as Zneip is not too far behind, about to see who is in Airman's room in a few minutes. But we found a medal for his Buster Soft Week in Heat. So we got Robot Master remaining. And I think that leaves Bubble Man left in air. Yep, there's our Bubble. It was a little bit more durable compared to Metal Man that we saw on Heatman's screen. Having a hard time finding the weakness. You'd have went to Heat sooner. He decimated Bubble. That is of ultimate weakness strength. So for the randomizer, there are 2 special classifications of weaknesses, which we like to call Great Weakness and Ultimate Weakness. As far as easy mode goes, regardless if it's a Great or Ultimate Weakness, it will immediately 2-shot bosses. These weakness types will have a little bit more significance in normal mode, where Great Weakness will kill in 4 shots. No, it would kill in 3, while Ultimate Weakness should kill in 2. Regardless of the matter, we do have our flip-flop between Charlieboy and Zneip. Pretty much just finished out the remaining robot masters that both of them have not killed yet. And there's our obligatory stream freeze on Zneip's end. Once again, Charlieboy and Zneip trading off stream freezes. Charlieboy about to face off against our Bubble. Will he find that heat ultimate weakness? Nope, he's gonna opt to Buster Duel him. Since Bubble Man's typically an easy fight, Buster Duel. With the setup that's given. And that is Charlieboy done with our 8 robos. Once again, our first racer to the robots. Where we got a very peculiar figure here. That right there is our Quicker Oats man. So we got the man of Oats pretty much taking over Dr. Wily's fortress, to which he seemed to have a little bit of a thing for Proto in the corner there. But yeah, now it's time for our little game, if you're familiar with how we like to play our games here. As Zneip is not too far behind taking care of Metal. So once again, we got a dragon that we'd like for you to guess. Once again, we got a weakness for you to guess. We got a color for you to guess. And finally, we got ourselves a set of sprites. Once again, here are your options. We got our vanilla dragon. Second, we got our no constancy dragon with some very beady eyes. You saw it on the last seed. It may come up again. We got our dragon with some very slick shades. We got our dragoncorn, or dragon with a unicorn horn. Very fashionable, very cute. And we got our swag dragon. And if our seed is any indication, we may have an Oats dragon appearance. Fitting with our Oats Wily that we saw just a few moments ago. So as you get those guesses in chat if you so feel like it. Charlieboy getting a little bit banged up here. Trying to go through the rest of this Wily Stage 1. Fortunately, we do have enemies that don't block the ladders. So Charlieboy having a little bit of extra clearance. Once again, gonna stick with the second page gambit first since we're already on here. Gonna see if Crash or Metal could be our potential weaknesses. It was Crash for the first seed. Will it be Crash for this seed as well? As oh boy, we are definitely full Oats. We got green and Oats. A Quicker Oats man pull out no expense, as Metal Blades being one of our weaknesses for the dragon. Very spammable, look like very good ammo consumption, pretty low. Very good options for boss weaknesses here. Pretty sure Zneip is gonna find it in relative short order. Oh, he doesn't go for Metal immediately. Opted to see if Crash is gonna be our first weakness. He may be lucky and happens onto it, otherwise there's gonna be a small little time loss. Meanwhile, Charlieboy already pretty much well into Wily Stage 2. Nope. We're gonna find he's gonna be happy that Metal, very spammable, as mentioned before, taking out the Mega Dragon in short order. Zneip going to Wily Stage 2, half a stage behind. Charlieboy opted to take damage on these monkeys here. Finally opts to use a weapon to see if he can one-shot them. Air seems to be doing the dirty deed on these monkeys. He does have an E-Tank thanks to the E-Tank that we're about to see Zneip get. But once again, we can't be too careful. The Pico units that we're about to see can be very treacherous. But not this time. Vanilla and again Buster weak. So Charlieboy is gonna be saving a lot of ammo from the potential damage, from the potential weakness hunt. Zneip usually not fond of searching for checking for Buster or any other easy god weaknesses first. Probably gonna check for Metal. Gonna be wasting time potentially compared to Charlieboy, where these Busters are just ripping apart these Pico units. So Charlieboy pretty much making a repeat of match 1 here. If he does so, he definitely has a fast way to the finals. But we still got a couple of stages left. Anything can happen. But the odds of Charlieboy making a slip up at this rate is usually far and in between. Like Zneip is finally checked that Buster indeed are good for these Picos. Gotta make sure that he's in position not to take immense damage. These Picos do hurt. Contact damage is pretty key. There we go, Zneip. Gotta make sure that you can catch up as close as possible. Charlieboy is definitely an extremely difficult opponent excuse me, to face, especially when he's ahead and on good pace. Excuse me. We got our Gust Tank sighting. Is it Buster weak? Nope. So we're doing our weakness dig. Is it Leaf Shield? Leaf Shield seems to be one of our weaknesses. No, it's Bubble. Almost had me convinced it was checking Leaf Shield. But we know that Bubble is one of our weaknesses. There is another weakness at large. But odds are you probably would expect Zneip to find that exact same weakness. But we'll see when Zneip actually gets to the Gust Tank. Meanwhile, Charlieboy already in Wally Stage 4. Wally Stage 4, where there are a few randomized options, such as our fake platforms here, for this screen and the next, but since we relatively use our items regardless, these have very little consequence or danger to our runners. Oh, looks like we found our second weakness. It looked like it might have been a slightly faster weapon to use in a supercharged heat. So Zneip getting a little bit of time, but still half a stage behind Charlieboy. Oh, Charlieboy finding our Fan Fiends. Wisely recovers. And we know that most likely Fan Fiends will be on the second screen, but where they be placed? But take note that our Fan Fiends always blow to the left. So if you get a configuration like this, Fan Fiends will be pretty much no threat in the slightest. So Charlieboy making quick work of these platform rooms. Just a few screens away before going to our boobing fight. Last time we had a god weakness in Leaf Shield. Are we gonna have back-to-back god weaknesses? Will it be Leaf again? Could it be Metal? Air is potentially vertical this time, or at least has one that could be vertical. Let's check Leaf Shield. Leaf Shield is not the thing. Checks the wall weaknesses for Leaf and Metal. Finds that Quick Boomerang is our wall weakness, but you're gonna have to dig a little bit more for the boobing weakness. Checks for Buster. And finds out that Heat one-shots these suckers. So once again, Charlieboy taking care of this stage in short order. Stay barely making the platform to the transition point, cutting it a little bit close. So got Charlieboy forced to our refights. Not expected to lose this lead, but anything can happen between now and the end of this race. But like I said, it's very hard to imagine someone like Charlieboy to screw up this deep into the run with most of the things out of the way. But we'll see by the time we get to the rolling machines. We're gonna see how Charlieboy's E-Tank count is like right now. As once again, we got Had a little bit of a stream freeze on Zneip's end. Charlieboy about to reach the halfway point, taking care of this very flimsy Metal Man. And there we go, halfway done. About to take out this quick. Zneip, hopefully he's able to have enough ammo to take care of this booming fight. Look like he found the quick boomerangs as the wall weakness. Having a little bit of trouble trying to get up to the upper portion of the area. Immediately checks for heat. So he's gonna be out of the Wally stage 4, but he's gonna be very, very far behind. Charlieboy already on his 6th Robot Master. A little bit clumsy, odd menuing. But it's gonna take for some very clumsy menuing in order for Charlieboy to lose this. As we get a raid, shout out to DJ Trails, thank you for the raid. As we're potentially coming up to the conclusion of this matchup here, Charlieboy already up 1 on Zneip. Pretty much needing a catastrophe on Charlieboy's end in order for Zneip to catch up, as Charlieboy is on his final Robot Master in Heatman before going to the Walla Machine. Down goes Heat, about to go to our Walla Machine. Gonna preload a weakness, look like he has air equipped, hoping for a quick shot. Nope, it's not Buster. So we're doing the whole weakness dive. That is bubble for the first phase. Is a bubble for the second phase. As he Wally take that E-tank just in case. We won't know this time around, but we found that Quick does the job for the second phase. So right now, it's looking like a clean sweep for Charlieboy. Stay potentially too far behind to make the comeback, even if Charlieboy makes a mistake on this alien. Charlieboy just playing an extremely clean game, looking to be on sub-30 pace. Charlieboy trying to make a statement here, saying that he's the top dog going to this grand finals. But before we speak too soon, we still got this Oats alien. Nope. Wally? No! Wally taking things to his own hands, upserting the Oats. Doing the good old weakness dive. Starting with the front page. Right now, first page ain't doing worth squat. Until we find quick boomerangs. So a few more hits left. And that is GG Charlieboy, finishing with official racetime.gg time of 29 minutes and 41 seconds in extremely brisk seed. A sub-30 on Charlieboy's end as he finishes up and secures his place in Grand Finals. Zneip not too far behind, putting up a pretty solid time in his own right, but Charlieboy is just really, really strong. Very hard to compete with a time like that. As we hope to try to get Charlieboy in for an interview here. They've taken care of the Walla Machine. So once again, GG's to Charlieboy. Our first run into Grand Finals. Zneip just a tad hair short of getting into Grand Finals, but because this is semis, he does have a shot at redemption, going to the 3rd place bracket to await who's gonna be his opponent there. But first things first, we still gotta conclude things proper. We got our wallet to bust. We know it's reached a quick boomerang. How soon will Zneip find that weakness? Looks like you're gonna last selected for the first page gauntlet. There we go. There's a quick boomerang. Ooh, almost kissed Wily. But managed to survive, finishing with a race time.gg time of 31 minutes and 32 seconds. An extremely good time under normal circumstances, but that sub 30 for Charlieboy just way too tough to overcome. But GG to our runners. Just waiting for our boys to get an interview here. But as we wait for our runners to get in... Oh, hey Charlieboy. Fancy meeting you here.
Like we've done this before or something.
Yeah, seems like deja vu. But joining us, we also have Zneip.
Yo.
Very solid effort, but Charlieboy just too powerful.
Just too hard.
I mean, man, if you would have seen the 2 to 3 practice sessions I had leading up to this, it was just like, oh my goodness. I was barely finishing seeds, and it's, I guess to take from my my previous race interview, I just kind of focused up, you know, and I was able to come out on top this time. Good games to Zneip.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, nothing. It's hard to say where I struggled. I did struggle a bit. I guess with Flashman and Seed 2, I died to him with the high jump and whatnot.
Yeah, it was relatively clean racing for the both of you. None of you really made any significant errors, and both of y'all played pretty clean. It was just execution and experience that pretty much just won the day between you two.
Well, I mean, I guess I've kind of got 5 years on Zneip as far as tournament experience. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, not to take away from him, man. Like, I mean, going into this, I knew you were a great competitor. I've been watching you all tournament season, and I was just like, okay, this guy is someone to reckon with. Like, he's someone fierce for sure. I mean, no tournament experience aside, or at least to my knowledge, man, you've got a great game plan. You're fast. You got a great run. You know, I was getting nervous, not gonna lie. I mean,
Thanks.
the way these seeds go and everything, you know, I mean, like, some days you can have, like, I don't know, sub 30 pace and whatnot, and then other days you have like 34 pace.
Yeah, true.
It's just
I felt really good that last one, but when I saw you finish to sub 30, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I just yeah, I've got some strats that are pretty consistent for me anyway. Sometimes they work, other times they don't.
Yeah, that's always just seemed to be the nature of the seas. You can practice good sometimes, and then by tournament race time, you end up having the worst days of your life, or you can have just days that you've already described. Charlieboy couldn't get a seed done worth a squat, and then just pulling out godly times out the drop of a hat just at random. The randomizers just always seem to work like that.
Well. So don't. So anyone newer or anybody else, take this advice. Don't get discouraged, especially if you're having like some trouble on this section or that section or whatever. I mean, some days fat fans can take like 6 hits, and you know that you're not getting anywhere on that. Today they didn't. Today they were like 1 shot, 2 shots. So you know, easy stuff.
Yeah, they were nice today.
Yeah. Fight night, but yeah, GG's to Zneip for sure.
Yep, GG's to Zneip. Unfortunately, you're definitely not out of the tournament yet unfortunately, because you've gone to the semifinals, you have secured a spot for the third place matchup. Waiting for a little bit of extra matches just to keep everyone on pace on what's scheduled right now. We do have the conclusion of Casual Tom and Bob X, which ended in a tie before we had to reschedule. The final match will be this upcoming Saturday, September 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight. You do not want to miss this match. This is a good one, and the conclusion should be extremely exciting for a chance to face up against Matt and the First Bro in the semis to see who will be facing either Zneip in the third place match, or Charlieboy. Once again, GG's to him. Once again, going to grand finals. Didn't get the top. See how you felt about your return to the grand final stage, Charlieboy. How you feel?
I mean, going for the top again. Be a two-time champ. Ain't everybody prodigy, but I think that would be cool to at least bring home another medal, so to speak. That'd be awesome. I mean, hey, if I enter next year and Prodigy doesn't, maybe, or even if he does, maybe I can make it all the way back and face him in finals. That would be dope. But regardless, I mean, hey, Tom's overdue for a win as well. So I mean, you never know. And then not to sleep on McBob X, because that was a sick race they had yesterday. And then of course Magnet First Bro as well, because he's fast as well. So I mean, everybody's left in this tournament is definitely high level Mega Man 2 randomizer tournament action. Top players all around.
Yep, there's still some killers here, and we're gonna see how that goes as the tournament reaches a conclusion. But before we head out, Zneip, do you have any parting words or shoutouts or whatever before we close this thing out?
Nah, nothing I can think of. Just thanks for commenting and thanks for a good race, Charlie.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Zneip. I guess that's my turn to say my final thoughts. Sorry, Creed.
Yeah.
Thanks,
no problem.
Creed. Thanks,
no
Creed,
problem.
for the commentary and the setup. I know I've been a little lackluster when it comes to live races, as it's been hard to kind of pin me down, but at least I've been doing what I can in the background this year. So I mean, my fault on the no comms during the year, or hardly any. I was a little bit more available at the beginning of the tournament than I was now, but who knows? Maybe I'll be able to find some time during the bronze race to commentate that or something. But yeah, big shout outs to Creed for the background and all that. And whoever on Speedgaming, if anybody's setting up the race, shout outs to y'all. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy work, guys, to do this kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in commentary, we only got two or three races this year to get on, but I mean, we're always looking for people who are interested to play, to commentate. I mean, guys, this is a great game. It's a lot of fun, and it's even more crazy whenever you randomize it. So please join us. And then big shout outs to Zneip, my opponent. Keep your head up. I hope to see you next year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much Charlieboy has mentioned all the stuff that I wanted to say. Of course, like I said, don't be afraid to try this out. Like I said, we're a relatively smallish community, but we're the small group, big heart kind of group feel, if you want to kind of speak similar to that. As you can see, we got people new, like Zneip, that's currently you saw race. We got McBobX moving from the last race, mostly a Vanilla 2 Mega Man Vanilla Zipless runner coming onto here, showing his stuff, potentially probably making to semis. Like I said, we got that conclusion coming up this weekend. We're always looking for volunteers, community members. Just feel free to just step on up. We are welcoming. We always try to help get people settled in, and we'll get everything going from there. But for right now, it's time to close this up proper. So once again, thanks to Speedgaming and its chain of Twitch channels everyone within the Mega Man 2 randomizer community from the beginning to the current day. And with that, for our racers, Zneip and Charlieboy, this is your boy LV Creed here on comms, wishing you a very good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be in this world. Just take care and keep your eye on the action as the tournament is getting good, yo. It's getting good. Till the next time, later, everyone.